Welcome back to Outriders. In this video I want to talk to you about the end game because I don't see it lasting too long. I don't think there's too much to the end game in this game. I've just recently finished off the story, I've got myself to level 30, and not only that, the world tiers become completely irrelevant when you get to the end game. The reason being, when you are there and you're doing the expeditions, there are 15 in total, but the final one being like the Eye of the Storm. When you first load it up, you will have a choice of 3 different expeditions you can do, and the entire end game is time-based, so you have to be efficient. You need to have a very good build. If you're playing co-op, you need to synergize with your teammates. I was able to take down a tier 4 expedition with a gold time, and I thought at first that the loot wouldn't be so great, because it simply just said you get gold crate, you get 4 drops, and you have a percentage of them being rare and epic. Pete has said that he's been watching some videos, and from tier 12 onwards you do start getting a chance at legendaries, so it can be good for farming, but you have to get to that tier first. It's pretty tough because the enemy level does increase quite a lot. And not only that, after you've completed the expeditions, how much are you going to want to run them over and over again? It doesn't feel as though there's any point in doing that. If you play the Division's end game, you've got all these different gear sets and exotics and stuff you can go for. You have your shade level that you can farm in the Division 2 so you can get better stats. And just in other games in general, the end game just seems to be a lot deeper than this one. I don't know why, but it feels as though this is going to be very quick, because after 2 expeditions, or 2 successful, we are already on tier 5. I believe that means it's going to take another 10 to get to the highest tier, being 15, but the entire time you're doing expeditions, your world tier is out of the window. The world tier doesn't exist anymore, so there's pretty much like a story sort of thing. I believe you can go back and you can push up to world tier 15 so that you can just carry on trying like the hunts and the bounties and stuff to try and get legendaries that way. But I do believe because you unlock a chance of getting them from tier 12 plus in the expeditions, it's not really going to be worth going back through any of the hunts or the bounties or anything like that. The only thing you can do is, because I think after you've done all 10 of each one, you're guaranteed a legendary, so farming that sort of stuff might come in handy. But once you have all of the legendaries, you've got them maxed out for your character, you've got your build, there's nothing to do. And not only that, as I said, a lot of people are going to struggle with this because the ones we've done, and I'm pretty sure they're all roughly the same, to get a gold crate, which is going to be your highest chance of the best possible gear, and you're going to get the most rewards from it, you have to do these expeditions in 14 minutes 40, and they are pretty tough to do. It just feels as though the end game is lacking. I feel they wanted to add more to it, but they didn't really know what to do. They didn't want to just go around copying all the other games because, for an example, like you can run through it like you do in other games, but in other games you have the different roles and stuff you want to go for, there's different missions and everything to do, and it feels as though there's a lot more because there are literally 15 different expeditions and that is it. So you do your first couple, you start building up the tiers, you get to the max tier, you unlock the Eye of the Storm, then you have 4 available because the Eye of the Storm has the most unique rewards. You can farm it over and over if you want to, so you'll always have that one available, and then there are just 3 random ones that they pick. None of that ever changes. There are currently a lot of bugs in the game, there are server issues, so the developers have a lot of work to do, in my opinion, before they even think of adding DLC, if they've reached the numbers they wanted to reach to actually add DLC to this game. So I think now the story's done, we're into the expeditions. I will be farming it, I'll put out a couple of builds, because I might run through with another character, depends how I'm feeling. I don't feel too much as though I want to do that at the moment. But with my Devastator, I will try and get maybe an anomaly power based build. I don't think I'll do like a really tanky one because I want to deal more damage than having loads of health without being able to output a lot of damage, because there's not a lot you can do to heal your teammates. There are some things, but it's mainly mods and stuff. So possibly a firepower one, and then possibly an anomaly power if I get round to it. We'll have to see what happens, but for now, I am carrying on the grinds to get to the highest tier. I'll show you some legendaries and stuff as I unlock them, if they are worth using, because I did have a couple for completing the story, and they just got sold straight away because I've already got weapons that are higher level and more powerful because I completed stuff earlier in the game on a higher world tier, and I dropped the world tier for the final boss. So I feel it's lacking. It could be a lot deeper than it currently is. Although the rewards are pretty cool. You get to the drop pod right at the end and it just literally spits loot out at you. It is nice to see, but it would also be nice if there were legendaries involved in the earlier tiers, or maybe even a chance. There's not even a chance of legendaries before tier 12 as far as I'm aware. So I don't think the end game on this game is going to be for a lot of people purely because it's time-based, and it's the only thing they have for their end game. You have to do these time-based challenges that just rotate after you complete one. I know a lot of people are going to struggle with it. I don't know if it's going to be worth playing for the solo player. I feel it will be easier in a group. It was me and Pete that were running them, and I just don't think they're going to get too many hours unless people are like really into the game. But yeah, that's my opinion so far. Remember, I've only done a couple of expeditions. It might change as I get further in, but I can't see that happening because I feel I've done 2, I've done them all sort of thing. Like, the only thing that's going to change is when I get to tier 12 and above, I'm going to have a chance of getting legendaries included in the loot. Once I've done every single one of the expeditions at least once, it's just going to become repetitive and boring. So I don't know, I don't feel this game's going to be like a 500 to 1,000 hour game. I think it's going to be one of those that if you're really into it, you'll do several characters. You'll also go through the story and all that sort of stuff. But other than that, you're pretty much going to play it once, do a bit of the end game grinding, get yourself a couple of legendaries and then not touch it until there's DLC if they decide to make it. So yeah, what I'm going to do is go back to the end game, get the expeditions done, work on my tier, try and keep getting them golds so that I get the best rewards from it. Hopefully get a really nice build together, because I've heard that someone's got a build with like level 50 weapons or something, because if you're focusing just on the world tier, it goes up to world tier 15 and everything is 12 levels above. Already at tier 5, the enemies and the loot level is level 37. So there's another 10 tiers to add on to that. And I do believe the gear goes up to 50 or something like that. I'm not entirely sure on its max level. But I believe it goes higher from the expeditions. And I've heard someone's getting crits for like 2 million damage and stuff. Some of the numbers are crazy. If the image is legit, I've seen a level 50 assault rifle standard variant that's got 83k base firepower. So some of the builds could be incredibly strong, but I'm going to have to get some more grinding going, get higher up in the tiers and get some of that loot. But that's going to do it for this video. Let me know your thoughts and stuff in the comments. I'll see you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed it.